June 2020. Germany wakes up to headlines that sound impossible. A multi-billion-dollar company has just admitted that $2 billion in cash doesn't exist. For years, this company fooled everyone. Banks, regulators, even the world's biggest auditors. It wasn't a small-time scam. It was a global deception run by people who played the system like a symphony. This is the true story of Wirecard, the billion-dollar fraud that hid in plain sight, and the mysterious man who disappeared when it all came crashing down. Because sometimes the biggest crimes don't happen in the shadows, they happen in the spotlight. Our story starts in Munich, Germany, in 1999. A new tech company promised to make online payments safe and easy. Its name? Wirecard. Back then, most of its clients were sketchy. Online casinos, adult sites, the corners of the internet no one wanted to deal with. But as the internet exploded, Wirecard saw a golden opportunity. They rebranded themselves as a sleek, modern fintech company. By 2015, they were everywhere, partnering with airlines, e-commerce platforms, even major global brands. And when their profits skyrocketed, investors called it Europe's answer to PayPal. But behind the glowing headlines, the numbers didn't make sense, and the people asking questions started disappearing from the conversation. Part 1. The illusion of a tech empire. Wirecard claimed it was processing billions in global payments, with huge profits coming from Asia. But when analysts looked closer, something was off. The clients making Wirecard all this money, no one had ever heard of them. No office addresses, no records, nothing. Yet, every year, Wirecard's profits kept rising. Its CEO, Markus Braun, spoke in TED Talk-style speeches about reinventing the future of money. He was seen as a visionary, and people wanted to believe him. In 2018, Wirecard replaced Commerzbank, one of Germany's oldest financial institutions, on the country's DAX 30 index. That was a historic moment. A fintech startup had outgrown a bank with 150 years of history. But what if the whole thing was fake? Because while Germany celebrated its new tech champion, a few people were already digging into the numbers, and they didn't like what they found. Enter Dan McCrum, a reporter for the Financial Times. He started investigating Wirecard in 2015, and almost immediately things got weird. Wirecard hired private investigators to follow him. He received anonymous threats. And then, German regulators stepped in, not to investigate Wirecard, but to investigate him. That's right. The government accused the journalist of conspiring to manipulate the market. They banned short selling of Wirecard stock and publicly defended the company. It looked like Wirecard had won. Its share price rebounded, reaching record highs. Markus Braun called all accusations nonsense, but McCrum didn't stop. He kept following the money, or rather the lack of it, and soon he'd find a hole so deep it would swallow billions. Part 3. The missing billions. Wirecard claimed it had 1.9 billion sitting safely in 2 Philippine banks. That money, they said, represented customer deposits and profits. But when auditors from Ernst & Young tried to confirm the funds, something didn't add up. Emails were forged, bank statements were fake, and when investigators called the banks directly, they were told the accounts didn't exist. Then came June 18th, 2020. Wirecard released a shocking statement. 1.9 billion of cash is missing. Hours later, Markus Braun resigned. Within days, he was arrested. But the real twist, Wirecard's chief operating officer, Jan Marsalek, vanished. Jan Marsalek was the man behind the curtain. Charming, secretive, and eerily connected. He was obsessed with spy stories and had contacts across intelligence circles. When Wirecard collapsed, Marsalek boarded a private jet to Vienna. and was never seen again. Interpol issued a red notice. Private investigators chased rumors from Egypt to the Philippines. Then reports surfaced that Marsalek had escaped into Russia, possibly under the protection of the FSB. Some said he was living quietly in Moscow under a false name. Others believe he's dead. No one knows for sure. But his disappearance wasn't random. Marsalek held the secrets to the entire fraud, and possibly the names of people who helped cover it up. Wirecard's fall sent shockwaves across Europe. How could one of Germany's most regulated companies hide a $2 billion fraud for years? The answer exposed a painful truth. The watchdogs weren't watching. Germany's financial authority, BaFin, was accused of ignoring repeated warnings. Whistleblowers were dismissed, and the company's auditors, Ernst & Young, had signed off on Wirecard's books for nearly a decade. Investors lost everything. Pension funds were wiped out, and faith in Germany's financial system was shaken to its core. But even as the dust settled, one question remained. Was this just corporate fraud, or was something bigger at play? When investigators dug deeper, they discovered something chilling. Wirecard's global operations were built on a labyrinth of shell companies, some in Dubai, some in Singapore, and some barely traceable on paper. Money was being moved in circles, fake payments generating fake profits. It was all designed to look legitimate. The fraud wasn't just big, it was brilliant. Each fake transaction triggered another layer of false accounting. By the time regulators noticed, the numbers were buried beneath years of digital noise. Even more disturbing, evidence suggested some officials may have helped cover up early warnings, either out of negligence or national pride. Germany wanted its tech hero so badly. It ignored the truth staring it in the face. And by the time reality hit, the hero had already turned to ash. Wirecard's story isn't just about greed, it's about trust, how easily it can be built and how quickly it can be destroyed. In a world driven by digital finance and tech hype, numbers can lie, balance sheets can be fiction, and billion-dollar companies can vanish overnight, leaving nothing but dust and denial. Marcus Braun sits in prison. Jan Marsalek remains a ghost. And the rest of us are left with one haunting question. If a $24 billion company can fake $2 billion right under everyone's nose, how many other illusions are still out there, waiting to collapse? Because in the end, the most dangerous scams aren't the ones you fall for. They're the ones you never even question.